I don't understand. I'm confused. You didn't tell me anything about this.
What date is it today?
The 31st of October, 1923. You should know this. You're older than me.
Resist.
Yes, but this thing's got powers. It's not my fault it is what it is. I didn't wrong it. I didn't traumatize it. I didn't shackle it near the molten steel. So it's not my fault that its nervous system is unable to regulate itself, harnessing thought infiltration, thought manipulation, thought disease, thought dissect, thought death. You know I'm quite the trembling type, and I don't want my brain to stray. So what am I expected to do?
Just as you're told.
These ill-mannered screams, where do they come from? I can't seem to wither my way out of this state. This place I'm sucked into, it's far from my sanctuary. But suddenly, it's like I've opened my eyes and Rick drags me back through this door. Hurry up and get in! Mercy taps my face.
Hey, snap out of it.
I'm out. In my irritated voice, Christian Symphy study my demeanor. I can read their eyes. They think I'm possessed. They think I'm at its mercy. But I'm strong. Rick stares at me like I'm some peculiar thing. The look in his eyes, I think he's asking if I'm alright. And I give a subtle nod, while the others become distracted by the surrealness of this room. I explain to him what I saw. A new world with a sinister feel. A new place with a profound weight. How it pulled me in and I couldn't get out. I said I was dumbstruck by how no one else saw it. Or did they? And that's why they screamed. He illustrates how we saw different things, and that mine was just an illusion, that it manipulated my thoughts, and what I saw was just a mere crack in the structure of reality. What was that all about? Krish butts in. Symphy steps forward.
We need answers now.
Rick struggles to get his words out, but he eventually does. He says that he put himself in an abstraction, uttering some metaphorical prayer that dissolves any imparities in the fabric of space and time. He looks me dead in the eyes. He says the entity manipulated my thoughts from when I first made eye contact with it. So he had to say the prayer to break me free from its shackles. The prayer is a give and take. So the reason why everyone screamed was because as soon as you broke free, the pendulum had swung to the opposite end of the spectrum, propelling me into the atmosphere. This sometimes happens with the laws of the universe. I'm stupefied.
What's all this then?
Mercy points to the walls, the newspapers, the magazines, the paranormal research papers. The dark entities stepping into our reality. People with scrambled eyes and black peppercorn skins, spirits that work in tandem, souls that want more souls. I think Rick's looking for a ghost, an extraterrestrial of some kind, or something bane and uncharted, like an existence bleeding blood and honey from its body. You've got some explaining to do, I said. He sweats. His eyes slide between us, but there's no revenant. We wait in anticipation, and my heart skips a beat. Then he blows a few things. That 10 years ago, he was called on a night shift, creeping through the mucky London still core. It was so dark, he couldn't even see shards of glass glistening under the clear sky. And even at that, he didn't know whether to stay or run. But I'm a man on his job, so better deal with the matter at hand. Anyway, making his way through the airy atmosphere, between the rusting steel, he heard excruciating shout. And couldn't decipher whether they were being put through a meat grinder or ravaged by a bunch of crows. He follows the screams, and the closer he closes in on it, it seems to get more distant. A penumbra pelts in his peripheral. His eyes widen, trying to see if it's a real shadow, phosphenes, or if he's just suffering from peduncular hallucinosis. His heart heaves while balancing to stay in control when a wicked sound sends him into an abysmal, anxious scare. I see something, load up my gun, and lean up against a pillar. He takes precaution and peeps his head around the corner. He couldn't believe his eyes. A shadow lugs where he can't reach. Somebody dangles from its long, wrinkly arms, stretched out of this dark mist, and yanks them down the weathered stairs into a concrete cave-like space. He pauses for a while, contemplating whether to save the day or let the hero turn zero, but waggles his head no, finding great fortitude within, and scurries down the stairs. There's no way out now. Just this thing, and a hole in the ground. These voices echo around him, and the fear in his gut caused him to raise his gun. I let off 2 shots. This thing just looked at me and laughed. His gun slips out of his hand as he's frozen in shock. Then suddenly, a feeling of possession swarms over him, and by the time he knew it, he entered a place of gnarly sounds. He couldn't see. It's like I was blind. Things would tap him on the shoulder, not knowing where it came from or where it was. Things would chatter in his ears, but he couldn't feel its breath or its lips. A rancid smell would whiff up his nose. A taste of rotten, sour apple would tingle in his mouth. His 5 senses had been hijacked, although he felt he was still in control, but he wasn't. He tries to figure out his way around without sight, but it's painful. What feels like a viscid straw floor assumes to suck him in. Silhouettes of people, but they range in features. That's hard to explain. A light flickers, but the source is non-existent. And he sees things in ragged clothing, but they're not human, nor monsters, but ghostly in nature. Clangs of iron bars open and close. Squeals of rats irritate his ears. The light flickers again. He tries to jump and shift out of the way, as he sees not rats, but a supernatural thing. The wolf-like that stands on two legs, smashed eyes filled with blood that turned black. Something hisses behind him. And it's not a machine or steam. It's not a human or an animal. It sounds like... never mind, he doesn't know. His brain is fried. He can't believe he's alive. He wished he had died. It's a burden to survive. His ears tweak to a distant voice in this void.
Where is this pig? Finally, a human being.
He sees snapshots of a figure moving menacing, but gracefully towards him. This was it. It is either going to yank him into the depths of hell and obliterate his soul, or drag him out of this murderous cavity. He mentally prepares more than physically as it advances. Rick tightens his fist, though it's going to do nada. He shuts his eyes, even though they already feel shut, and breathes slowly, deeply, then hears a foreign prayer. That causes him to relapse into a state of zen. But it abruptly stops, and as he opens his eyes, he shrills in horror as an extremely shriveled, grey-eyed man with thinning, slick-back hair, bogey-nosed and chapped lips stands in front of his face. His body's hauled upside down into the blackened air, like he's being dragged through water that's about to crush his skull. Now he's back at the London Steel Court with a man in a tailcoat, suave and differential. His shoes, custom velvet leather, embellished with gold, buttons and hooks. He hands Rick a platinum scroll.
Take this and do as you please, but be warned, it comes with its consequences.
Then the man takes off, vanishing into spaces of dying light until Rick lost sight of him. That's the first and last time he ever saw that elegant and sophisticated man.